Yeah, when we saw it on the schedule and it said 6 and I Historic Synagogue, we thought it was like an old synagogue that had been converted into a nightclub or like we didn't know it was an active like Sabbath holding synagogue.
Did you enjoy the show?
Yes, definitely. Thank you again for coming out and allowing us to take this interview with you.
No worries.
I wanted to know, is this your first time performing in DC?
I think so, yeah.
Very cool.
I don't. Did we play in DC before? No, this is the first time.
And definitely first time maybe performing in a synagogue?
Yes, definitely that. Even though I thought it was church the whole time, but that was, I guess they're all places of God, so, you know.
It was close. I probably would have made the same mistake, to be honest.
Yeah.
Was this the most...
I mean, it was beautiful. All churches and
they have great
they're all
sound
sort of beautiful and big,
big
ceilings and stuff.
And is this the most unique venue you've ever performed in? Or take us back to maybe the most unique place.
I've done some pretty random gigs. I played at an airport hangar. I've played in a shop window. That was pretty weird. In Germany once I played in a sporting store and they removed all the the glass window and people were like walking through the streets and I was busking. So but I've never performed in a church like that again. I mean, I sung in church growing up.
That's what I was about to say.
I've never performed in a synagogue, and but it was quite cool. Like, the acoustics were amazing, and it lifted me.
And your voice is very soulful. So I wanted to know, were you raised singing in church? Where did you get your sound?
Yeah, I mean,
cultivated?
I definitely I was raised up on Motown and stuff like that, and I went to church as a kid. So, we would always. I never sung in the choir at church. I'd just sort of sit at the back of church and try and out-sing the choir. But yeah, so I guess soul was sort of always around. I always loved big soulful voices, from Otis Redding to Smokey Robinson, Michael Jackson, just people with unique tones and where you could just feel it when they sung. And
you mentioned when you were on the stage that you write all of your music. Does it all come from your personal experiences, or do you also take from that of others?
It's a bit of both. A couple of my big song, Start Again, was a personal, song about me and an ex. And then Firestone was a song, I sort of dreamt it up, and it was sort of a made up story. So they're either sometimes they're about me, or sometimes they'll be about my brother or my friend, or it's just I kind of see songs in everything in everyday life.
What about when you're singing I Love to Be Your Shadow? Was that personal experience?
That was, to be honest, that was sort of I had the idea, I liked the lyric shadow and I thought it was a cool concept for a song. And then a lot of times when I think, as a songwriter, I think when you think of a cool concept, or you think of you hear a word that you love or something like that, then you sort of put yourself in and be like, hey, how can I relate to this? You know what I mean? So
have you ever sung that song?
To me, that wasn't supposed to be like a stalkerish kind of thing. It was more about being when you're really in love with a girl and you just want to spend all your time with them and you don't get sick of them. Mm-hmm. And to me, being someone's shadow is pretty much that. I mean, when you're pretty much attached to their hip.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt like that before, so I just put myself in that position.
Because I was wondering, it does almost get on the line of stalkerish. I was wondering what that girl's response was. If you did ever sing it for the girl that you were writing
I like to think that it was reciprocated, and that she was enjoying my company as well.
Definitely. And I want to switch gears to another song. So Hold Me Up. I remember when I first heard that song, it was like an anthem. And the sound that it made everybody in the venue just be like, wow, who is singing this song? It's amazing.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
When you finished performing that song in the studio, did you know the reception was going to be as amazing as it's been?
To be honest, I didn't know. And I used to think I know. But after Firestone and Hold Me Up, I think you just should put music out there and see what happens. That song, to be honest, I was kind of drunk when I wrote it. Well, towards the end of it, because we were having such a good time writing it, we were drinking, and I don't usually drink in the studio, but that night it was like a late night. We were so excited about the song, we started popping all these bottles, and by the end of it, I guess we all left not really knowing what was going on. But the next morning, my manager and stuff had heard it, and they're like, "Yo, this is really good," and I'm like, "Really?" Sounded pretty weird by the time we left the studio, but
kind of drunk more often.
Yeah, maybe.
More music.
I think it was cool. So it was a nice surprise, and it's been great, the reception it's got.
Very nice. And then wanted to talk about one more song. So you just put out the video for Remind Me.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you came up with the concept for the video, because it's very powerful.
Thank you. Well, yeah, that Remind Me is sort of one of my favorites of the EP. And when I wrote the song, I wrote it about an ex, pretty much, and remembering things about her and things that there's constant reminders of people in your life and stuff like that. But then halfway through writing the song, it sort of started to take in a new meaning and just started to feel just like of overall memories of people that, whether that's like my old friends that like I missed and now are no longer in my life, but their memories still always pop up, and it's a nice thought in when you think about that. So when we went to do the video, a lot of people wanted to do like the boy-girl thing and have it be a breakup story, and I feel like I've already done that with some other stuff, and I wanted it to have a sort of a little twist in it, I guess. I mean, I don't think people listen to the song and automatically think of something, passing away or something like that. So I just thought up the script. Me and my manager, we sat down and we sort of had like a brainstorming session, and we came up with this whole script, and we pitched it out to different directors and waited to see who sort of best put our dream together. But we were really happy with it. It was nice to be like involved in like the whole story and not just have a director come to us with an idea for a video and us be like, okay, cool, we like that one. It was really thought up from me and with the help of my manager, and so it really came from our perspective, and I think it's been perceived really well.